Oh, last part of that update, because I realized I didn't give it a rating. The rating's probably a 3 out of 10 on last night, guys. Did not sleep very well at all.
Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Matt and this is What Matters to Matt, and on today's video we're going to be going over Garmin's Advanced Sleep Tracking. We're going to start off the video just by talking a little bit about what Garmin says on their website when it comes to how they actually do the sleep tracking. Then we're going to go over maybe some of the limitations, how I actually set this up, because for the past week, or for a week, it's a few days past that now, I got up every morning and I actually took the time to just spend maybe about a minute talking to the camera about how my sleep was. Now, I did not look at the Garmin sleep tracking at that time. I just took a little bit of a screenshot of it each day. Now we're going to go back. We're going to watch what I said it felt like to actually go to sleep and how my sleep was each night. And then we're going to look at what Garmin says I actually did. Now, I haven't had a chance to take much of a deep dive into this, just enough so that I'm able to line up the correct days so I'm not getting that confused. But let's dive into looking at exactly what Garmin says their advanced sleep tracking is and how it actually works. All right, so let's dive into what Garmin actually says their sleep tracking is by looking at the website. What is advanced sleep monitoring? Advanced sleep monitoring is a feature found on many Garmin watches that have an optical heart rate sensor. With ASM, users will have the ability to track their sleep statistics in Garmin Connect when wearing the watch while sleeping. Select models can also provide sleep score and insights. For information on this feature in compatible watches, see what is the sleep score and insights feature with the Garmin watches. So how does this feature work? By leveraging the optical heart rate sensor on the watch, we measure heart rate and heart rate variability, the time measured between each heartbeat, which combined with the accelerometer allows us to determine when you fall asleep, when you wake up, and what level of sleep you are in. What are the requirements to take advantage of this feature? Requirements to get advanced sleep monitoring include the following. The watch must be compatible with the advanced sleep monitoring. The Garmin Connect app must be up to date. Use your app store to check and install any available updates. The watch must be worn at least 2 hours before bedtime. The optical heart rate sensor must be enabled while sleeping. A valid birth date must be saved in the user settings in Garmin Connect. And to ensure the most accurate sleep data, make sure that your sleep and wake windows are set correctly. You can do that in setting sleep and wake window times in Garmin Connect. If your sleep schedule changes, update your sleep time to ensure the most accurate sleep data. If you have more than one watch, you must wear the one marked as your primary wearable device to bed. And just very, very quickly here, since they mentioned it, I'm going to click on the settings, sleep and wake window times in Garmin Connect. If you open up the Garmin Connect app, open the menu, and if you're on iOS, bottom right, select settings, select user settings, select bedtime or wake time, input time, and select OK. Changes will be applied after your next sync. So it is important, at least for Garmin to be able to give its most accurate information, is that you try to put the most accurate sleep and wake times that you can in the watch. Perhaps that's telling on how much Garmin can actually track in terms of sleep, because you need to tell them in advance when you're probably going to go to sleep. Also, if you're somebody who has a very varied schedule, me included, there's a couple of days of the week where I tend to either go to bed later because of work or wake up earlier because of work, that can be impacted in terms of Garmin's ability to track. But let's dive in just a little bit deeper. All right, so the fun part, let's dive into Monday, the first day that I actually talked to camera about my sleep.
Okay, guys, gotta make this pretty quick because it's bitterly cold outside and I've got to get on a run. But went to bed last night at about 10:30. Probably fell asleep maybe 15 minutes after that. Woke up this morning at 5 a.m. to my alarm. Rolled out of bed at about 5:01. I'm gonna say I woke up 4 times, and that if I was to rate my sleep out of 10, I'd say about a 5. All right.
So briefly, I do want to mention that I did have my sleep time and my wake time inputted into Garmin Connect for purpose of tracking, and I had my sleep time set at 9:30 p.m. and my wake time at 4:30 a.m. That might have little impact on this, but it's good to note just for the purpose of total transparency. But let's look at what I said in the video. I'll put them up here on the screen in terms of my stats for Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning sleep. and then let's look at what Garmin says I actually did. Now, Garmin says I went to sleep at 9:19, and then I woke up at 5:07 a.m. in the morning. Now, on the video, I actually said that I went to bed at 10:30, fell asleep at about 10:45, and I woke up at 5:01. So there's a difference there of over an hour. Now, the one thing that I will note to Garmin's credit is that even though it says that I went to bed at 9:19, it's saying that I was awake sort of between 9:30 and 10:30 for quite a bit there. So it did catch that. I think I might have said that I woke up 4 times throughout the night. The only thing that seems to kind of show up there as roughly 4 times is where it's tracking my REM sleep. Very little deep sleep on that night, mostly light sleep, which is kind of accurate to my overall sleep in terms of how I rated it, which was a 5 out of 10. So let's move on to seeing what day 2 had to offer.
Okay, so really quickly, guys, it is Tuesday. Really tired this morning. Last night, didn't get to bed until around midnight. I'm not really sure what was going on. I had a hard interval session yesterday afternoon and then went and did a leg workout and really just couldn't wind down. So I sat there, scrolled through social media until around midnight when my eyes finally closed. I think I woke up 4, maybe even 5 times last night. And this morning, my alarm went off at 5. I laid in bed until about 5:18. So not a great execution of the sleep last night, but I'm going to rate that one 4 out of 10. Maybe even let's call it 3.5 out of 10. All right, off to the gym.
All right, so there you have it. That's Tuesday. Let's put up on the screen what I said in the video I did for sleep, and let's look at what Garmin actually said I did for sleep. Now, Garmin says I went to bed at 10:10 p.m., and I woke up at 5:18 a.m. Now, in the video, I actually say that I went to bed at 12 midnight. Now, probably, and I didn't mention it, but probably that was a couple of hours scrolling. So my guess would be that the 10:10 p.m. is actually when I started to lie down and kind of got rested and spent probably close to 2 hours on my phone lying there in bed. Totally the wrong thing to do, by the way, but probably what I did. And again, it does kind of point out that I was awake for some time between 10:10 p.m. and midnight, so I'll give a little bit of that to Garmin. I also said that I woke up 5 times, and again, it's only saying that I was awake a couple of different times throughout the night, but you could almost argue that when it's saying that I'm in REM sleep, that possibly those are the times that I wake up, but it's really hard to tell because it doesn't track those that closely. Really no deep sleep here at all, which again, 3.5 out of 10 is really accurate. Now, the one thing I will mention is that Garmin does say that I woke up at 5:18 a.m. And in the video, I woke up at 5 to my alarm, but didn't actually roll out of bed until exactly 5:18. So Garmin's picking up when I'm actually leaving my bed as opposed to when I actually wake up. Sometimes it takes me a few minutes to get up.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday. Let me just see if this will... kind of. Okay, so hi, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Really didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. Went to bed probably after midnight, a little bit after 12. I had to work pretty late, and I had to get a bunch of stuff ready for teaching today. So we're scrambling a bit this morning. We're really tired. A little bit after midnight by the time I actually closed my eyes and went to bed. Sat in bed, did a bunch of lesson planning, and then this morning woke up at, I'm going to say 5 a.m. was when my alarm went off. Probably got up 4 times or so overnight. But that's one of the reasons why keeping track of my sleep and wanting to take a look at this is pretty important, because I'm tired, and I know that's going to have an impact on my training. But that's the update for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, so there you are, Wednesday. Let's put up on the screen what I said in the video I actually did, and now let's dive into what Garmin said I did. Now, Garmin says I went to bed at 9:59 p.m. and woke up at 5:03 a.m. The 9:59 is nowhere near when I actually say in the video I went to sleep. I suspect I lied in bed for 2 hours on my laptop doing some lesson planning for work the next day. So that's probably where that time went. It makes me curious why Garmin is not picking up on any of that. It does, once again, to its credit, show me as awake for a short period of time there. So not totally inaccurate, but not really accurate to what actually happened. And the wake up time of 5:03 was pretty accurate. Now, I did say in the video that I woke up 4 times throughout the night. Garmin says that I woke up twice. But once again, like most nights, I never really got into much of a deep sleep. I spent most of my time in light sleep, and I was in and out of some sort of a REM cycle. But let's move on to looking at Thursday.
All right, so it's Thursday morning, about to head out the door to hit the gym. I almost forgot to give a little bit of an update on my sleep last night. Last night, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, went to bed. I think I fell asleep around 10:30-ish. Scrolled on social media for a while before that, but fell asleep. Woke up quite a few times last night. Did a really hard session yesterday evening, and I think my legs were feeling it, and that kind of had me stirring a little bit throughout the night. So it'd be interesting to see what Garmin says in terms of my sleep. Definitely probably woke up, I'm going to say 5 times last night. So, and last night, even on top of that, I took some melatonin to try to help out my sleep, because I have been waking up, but that didn't seem to really help. But anyways, we're up. Got up this morning at 5 a.m. to the alarm, had some breakfast, did some things around the house, and we're about to head to the gym. Okay, that's it for now.
Here we are on to Thursday. Now let's put the stats up on the screen of what I actually said in the video I did in terms of sleep, and then let's look at what Garmin said I did in terms of sleep. Now Garmin says that I went to bed at 9:47 p.m. and I woke up at 5:22 a.m. Now this is starting to probably sound and look a little bit like a broken record, but in the clip I do say that I went to sleep at around 10:30. Probably the 9:47 is just roughly when I went to bed and sat there and scrolled through some social media. Something that I can highlight from this whole experiment that probably I need to work on. We'll talk about that in a sec. But it does also, the one thing where it seems a little bit more inaccurate than some of the other days is that in the video, I basically woke up at 5 a.m. and got up and went to the gym. In this, it's saying that I actually woke up at 5:22, which isn't quite accurate to when I actually woke up. Garmin hasn't been super accurate to when my eyes opened up, but they have, on other days of the week, to their credit, at least been accurate to when I start moving and get out of bed. So not sure what that was about, but also that I think I woke up 5 times throughout the night, and there's no indication of that except for me being awake a little bit after my alarm goes off and before I roll out of bed. It does again show REM sleep a number of different times, and again, it might just be a coincidence, but the REM sleep lines up much closer to the times I felt that I was awake.
Man, oh man, it is bright out here. There's no way you're confusing this with early in the morning, but today, just to give you a little bit of an update, it's Friday, so Thursday night, got to bed at, I'm gonna say, it's a little bit after 10. Probably didn't fall asleep until a little bit after 11, scrolling that social media, and woke up like 7 times. Finally, eventually waking up for good at around 4:45 a.m. So very little sleep, didn't sleep well at all. Not sure what that's about. Really, this has really given me a chance to realize that my sleep is absolutely horrendous. But I'm gonna go on a bit of a run now. Later on in the day, that's my update for the Garmin and my sleep. All right, let's go.
Okay, so we're on to Friday. Once again, let's have a look at what I said in the video, roughly of when I went to bed and when I woke up and how that sleep was. And then let's dive into what Garmin says. Now, Garmin says I went to bed at 9:43 p.m. and woke up at 4:52. In the video, I think I actually said that my head hit the pillow at around 10 p.m. and I didn't actually fall asleep until after 11. To Garmin's credit, again, even though it's saying 9:43, which is probably roughly when I actually lied down, it is showing me as being awake for quite a bit before 11ish. So it is picking up on some of that being awake, even though I'm just lying there in bed, but it's saying that I went to sleep earlier than I did It's basically picking up when I actually lie down for bed at night. And in the morning, I think I said I woke up at 4:45 in the video, but Garmin has me waking up at 4:52. So frankly, that's close enough for me. Also, that I woke up 7 times throughout the night. There's no indication of that in what Garmin tracked. Closest thing again, and perhaps just coincidence, is the amount of times that Garmin said that I was in REM sleep. All right, there you have it. That's Monday through Friday of what I feel I did when it comes to sleep and what Garmin tracked for me when it comes to sleep. Now, the big question is, do I think that Garmin is pretty accurate with my sleep? I'm gonna say, on the surface, no. I think if you look at what happened during this week, there were a lot of days where it was sort of dependent upon when I was just not moving anymore. If I went to bed and scrolled on social media for an hour, Garmin just assumed that I was actually sleeping. And if I woke up but lied in bed for a little bit of time, Garmin just assumed that I didn't actually wake up until I actually got up out of bed. So it was very much motion based, and some of the stuff throughout the night, let's be perfectly honest, it's really hard for Garmin to actually tell when you're in deep sleep or REM sleep or light sleep or any of these things. And some of that was a little bit telling where it couldn't actually pick up when I was awake very often. Certainly not when I just woke up and lied there in bed and tried to get back to sleep. The other thing I want to mention is that I think, how will this actually impact me in terms of, do I think this is information that I can use going forward? Is there any valid point to actually paying attention to what Garmin says in terms of your sleep? I think if you look at it on a macro level, I think if you look at just one individual night, maybe you're trying to figure out after big workouts or after recovery days, how good is your sleep doing on a particular night? Not going to be overly accurate at this point, but potentially if you look at it on a more macro scale, if you take a step back and look at sleep patterns in general throughout the course of a month or 6 months or a year, you can kind of start to see some trends, and it does give you something to work towards. The other thing I'll mention is when I'm tracking anything, whether it's my diet for calories or my movement or my workouts or anything, sometimes I do accept that things are not going to be 100% accurate, but by tracking them and paying attention to them at least it gives me a little bit of focus on the things that I need to focus on, even if what I'm using, the tools I'm using to do that focus, is not providing me with completely accurate information. My mind is paying attention to what I'm doing, if any of that makes sense. So hopefully this helped you out and gave you a little bit of insight on exactly how good Garmin is at sleep tracking. My name is Matt, and this is What Matters to Matt, and ultimately what matters to me most is my family. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.